right. The BMW K1600B Grand America Edition. This is basically BMW's Honda Goldwing. It's their highway cruising bike that they say is super comfortable on the highway. But I'm gonna tell you something. Riding this on the interstate, I was actually getting blown around a lot more than I thought I would have on a bike this size. This motorcycle is over 800 pounds ready to ride when it's got the liquids in it and the fuel in it with a 7-gallon tank and a gallon reserve. And when I stop at a stoplight or first get on the bike and I feel that, I'm sure that it's every bit 810 pounds. Then BMW says when it's fully laden, you've got about a 425-pound useful load. What is this, an airplane? Useful load? So you put my big butt on here and another one of me on here and we basically maxed out. Yep, I just revealed my weight. So what is this BMW K1600B Grand America Edition? It is an aluminum sort of skeleton frame with a stressed engine to help with rigidity. It's an inline 6-cylinder. This is a car engine in a motorcycle. Inline 6. This is a 6-cylinder right between my legs going up like this. 160 horsepower. Sounds like a lot. And in a sport bike that weighs 250 pounds, it is a lot. When you got a bike that weighs 800 pounds, it's adequate. But here's the thing. This motorcycle delivers that power smoother than any other motorcycle I've ever ridden in my life. Let's do a little hard throttle here. Woo! The K1600 is actually speed limited to 100 miles an hour. But that power is just so smooth the way it comes on. That's the biggest benefit to this motor. That inline 6-cylinder is just effortlessly smooth. It's not really neck-snapping acceleration, but it's linear. It's just a nice onslaught of power as you roll through the throttle. Speaking of the throttle, these grips are pretty comfortable. The angle's nice for me. I'm kind of a tall person, so my arms and my wingspan is a little big, but it's not too bad. What I don't like is the end of these grips are silver. That reflects the sun really badly. You also have some black piano black plastic parts up there. This storm black is actually really pretty cool, the paint job. But some of the bits on this bike do get a little shiny in direct sunlight. I got side saddlebags, I've got a top bag behind the back seat that has handlebars and heated seats. Yeah, heated seats. Not only heated grips, but heated seats. How else can you get more comfortable on a chilly morning? How about a windscreen that you can raise up to block the wind even more? Like this. Look at this. This windscreen goes up and down. The K1600 has 3 different riding modes. Right now I'm in road. You hit this little button over here on the right side and I can go into dynamic, which seems to change throttle mapping a little bit. It seems to firm up the ride a little bit as well. I can go into rain, where everything gets a little more reined in. Haha, pun intended. But road has seemed to work just fine. So there's engine brake management, there's suspension management, there's throttle management, there's like slip angle management, there's automatic load leveling. So when you do get a couple of my fat butts on here, the bike's going to compensate for that extra weight. There's also LED headlights, which If you go around a bend, go with you. If you brake hard, they tilt up to stay looking down the road. If you take off really fast, they tilt down to stay looking down the road. You've got a 10.25 inch TFT screen down here that you interplay with on all these controls, the little menu button and the toggle switch over here on the left hand grip. You can go through so many different things on this bike. How does BMW bypass that? There are 4 buttons down the left fairing for your favorites. They're customizable, programmable buttons with 2 stages, so really you've got 8 buttons, because you can do a soft press or a hard long press, and it'll do 2 different things. The bike basically has everything except cup holders. Come on, BMW. But for a bike that BMW says is an interstate cruiser, this K1600 Grand America actually feels more at home on back highways. Not necessarily the ultra twisty things that you might really enjoy on a sport bike. In the mountains, for example. And with the dual disc 4-piston front brakes, single disc dual piston rear brakes, and ABS, you can haul it down, all 800 pounds of it, pretty rapidly. The brakes actually feel really nice to modulate. The throttle's a little sticky off the start. You really have to be off the throttle to be off the throttle. Like some bikes you can kind of gradually let off and it slows down, just sort of like gradually letting off a gas pedal. But this bike you really have to be off the throttle to be off the throttle. Hope that makes sense. So while it's not a corner carver, it is comfortable going around the bend. And comfort is really the name of the game when it comes to this K1600 Grand America. It's not an inexpensive bike. It starts around $23,500, $24,000. This one, as equipped, is almost $29,000. That is a car. And that's really what you're buying when you buy a K1600B Grand America edition, is a car with no doors and no roof. You can really feel the heft of this K1600 when you're going around bends like these. There's just a lot to toss in. And if I was more comfortable, I could probably go faster. I'm just not used to a bike this big. When I first rode this bike a week ago, I didn't get it. I couldn't understand why somebody would want to dilute the open air, open feeling that you get from riding a motorcycle, an experience you can't get even in a convertible. Cars just can't replicate that experience, that feeling that you get from being out in the open air on a motorcycle. So why would you want to dilute that with this huge windscreen and a huge engine up here that isn't overly powerful with this 800-pound mass? But the more I've ridden this thing, the more I get it. If I was going to go from our home in Wisconsin all the way across the country, would I want to ride a V4? Heck no. Would I want to ride this? I'm not sure. I could throw a whole bunch of luggage in the back and I can cruise around on some back highways really comfortably. So the question is, can you still have fun? Does this bike deliver that fun factor? It really does. That smooth power delivery, the assured brakes, all the niceties you get with heated grips and a heated seat and really nice mirrors and storage. You can really have fun with this thing. Fuck, you can ride this thing no-handed. So if you're not a car fan and you want some of that open road, open feel, experience that a motorcycle can deliver, that only a motorcycle can deliver, BMW might have a bike for you.